I can't think of anything else.
Well, I guess that's it then.
Cool.
We already know about some of the biggest changes the 50 Shades of Grey movies made compared to the books, and it feels like the perfect time for a fourth movie to bring in what the trilogy left out. A new movie could finally show some of the things the first three didn't, like how the books had way more sex scenes or how Anna's inner goddess never made it into the films. Even the contract negotiation scene plays out differently in the books. So let's dive into everything we know about the potential fourth 50 Shades movie. For anyone needing a refresher, 50 Shades is a series of erotic novels by British author E.L. James. It kicked off as a trilogy with 50 Shades of Grey, 50 Shades Darker, and 50 Shades Freed, published between 2011 and 2012. The story follows Anastasia Steele, a college graduate, and Christian Grey, a wealthy businessman who introduces Anna to the world of BDSM. The book's success was a surprise even to James, who described them as her midlife crisis writ large, where she poured all her fantasies. She started writing in 2009 after finishing Twilight and getting into fanfiction. The trilogy became a huge hit, with James becoming one of the highest-earning authors by 2013, pulling in $95 million, including $5 million from the film rights to 50 Shades of Grey. Despite the massive sales, critics weren't exactly kind to the books, especially the first one. But the series kept growing, with James releasing Christian's perspective in Grey, Darker, and Freed, which retell the events through his eyes. After all the drama in 50 Shades Freed, it's natural to wonder what's next for Anna and Christian, right? There are plenty of ways their story could go. For one, parenthood is a whole new adventure. Now that they have Theodore, we could see them navigating sleepless nights, dirty diapers, and all the joys and chaos that come with being new parents. And then Anna gets pregnant again with Phoebe, so they'd be balancing family life, work, and everything in between. But it wouldn't just be about babies and business. Anna and Christian have been through a lot, and maybe the next step for them is working through the past and really healing their relationship. Watching them build trust, forgive, and grow stronger together could make for a compelling continuation. There's definitely plenty of room for more drama and growth in their story. That said, a 50 Shades 4 movie could definitely turn up the heat with more erotic scenes. In the books, Anna and Christian are constantly having sex, often in kinkier ways. One of the biggest differences between the books and movies is just how much sex there is and how deeply the BDSM themes are explored. In the novels, it feels like every other scene involves some steamy action between the two, which is why the books have earned that smut reputation. But with the movies, things were toned down a lot. The filmmakers had to focus more on the plot and character development because, let's face it, you can't just have a non-stop series of sex scenes and expect to keep a mainstream movie audience engaged. Plus, the movies needed to stay somewhat accessible for theaters. While this might have been a bit of a letdown for die-hard fans who expected more of what the books delivered, it did allow for the characters and their story to develop in ways that weren't possible with constant explicit scenes. However, a fourth movie could flip that script. They could use flashbacks to dive into some of those steamier moments, bringing more of the book's intensity to the screen while still moving the story forward. This way, fans could get the best of both worlds, more of the passion from the books and continued character development in the present. One of the most annoying aspects of the 50 Shades books is the repetitive mention of Anna's inner goddess. This character is supposed to embody Anna's wild side, but she mainly just seems like a stand-in for her horniness. Basically, the inner goddess doesn't add much depth to the story. It's referenced constantly, which can be pretty frustrating. Fortunately, the movies ditched the inner goddess entirely. Instead of beating the audience over the head with Anna's libido through voiceovers, they show her conflicted emotions and sex drive through Dakota Johnson's performance. This approach is much more effective on screen, allowing her mannerisms and vocal tone to convey Anna's inner struggles and desires without needing that repetitive, annoying character. Now, with a potential fourth movie, there's a chance to revisit some of those elements in a way that might be more appealing. Maybe we'll see a deeper dive into the kinkier aspects that were glossed over or omitted in the previous films. The fourth installment could include flashbacks or even new scenes that showcase the more intense elements from the books, giving fans the erotic content they crave while also expanding the story in fresh and engaging ways. It's a chance to balance the sensual and dramatic aspects better and perhaps give viewers a more satisfying experience overall. Moreover, the 50 Shades of Grey book dives way deeper into the BDSM contract than the movie does. In the film, the contract is featured but gets a bit of a makeover. It's shortened, and some of the detailed legal stuff is cut out. Anna's also shown to do less research on what being a submissive entails. In contrast, the book presents a much more thorough and intense version of the contract, which resembles a total power exchange or TPE BDSM contract. This kind of contract gives the dominant control over everything from bathroom breaks to sex acts. TPEs can be pretty controversial in the BDSM community because they risk crossing into abusive territory under the guise of kink. A fourth movie could explore this aspect in more depth, giving fans a more detailed look at the complexities of the contract and the issues surrounding it. This could add a new layer to the story, addressing the more intense elements that the previous films glossed over. One thing more a fourth movie could tackle is the contract negotiation scene, which differs quite a bit between the book and the film. In 50 Shades of Grey, the movie simplifies the process by having Anna and Christian hash out the entire contract in one lengthy meeting. Sitting at a ridiculously long table, it's all very quick and to the point. But in the book, the negotiation is much more nuanced. After Anna reviews the contract, she and Christian communicate through emails about her concerns. They then meet at a restaurant for a more in-depth discussion. Anna gets overwhelmed and decides to hold off on discussing the more sensitive limits until another time. This drawn-out approach provides a more detailed and realistic look at their negotiation process. A fourth movie could dive into these nuances, offering a more thorough portrayal of how they work through the contract's complexities. And let's not forget Christian's unsettling obsession with Anna's eating and exercising in the books. In 50 Shades of Grey, Christian imposes strict rules on Anna's diet and exercise routine, including a specific list of approved foods and mandatory personal training sessions, with progress reports sent to him. He constantly monitors her eating habits and criticizes her choices, creating a troubling dynamic. Thankfully, the movie version toned this down significantly. Instead of making it a major plot point, it's only briefly mentioned when Anna refuses to agree to the food restrictions. This change helps to avoid promoting these harmful ideals, making the film's portrayal of their relationship a bit less troubling. A fourth movie could explore these aspects more deeply or even address the impact of these dynamics more thoroughly, offering a more balanced view. And that wraps up today's video. If you want to stay updated on all the latest movie news, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. By doing so, you'll stay in the loop with all our future updates. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one. Remember, we're always open to your suggestions for future videos, so feel free to leave them in the comments below. Also, we'd love to hear your thoughts on the changes we discussed today. What do you think a fourth 50 Shades movie could do differently or improve upon? Drop your ideas and predictions in the comments.